Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about military developments in recent times, an Israeli operation that stunned analysts and quickly drew global attention. This operation didn't just make headlines because of its scale, but because of how unexpected its timing and execution were. Experts around the world were caught off guard, not only by what happened, but by how rapidly events unfolded afterward. To understand why this moment matters, it's important to look at the broader context Israel operates within. Israel exists in a region where security threats are constant, complex, and often overlapping. Over the years, Israeli military strategy has focused heavily on deterrence, intelligence dominance, and rapid response. This latest operation appeared to reflect all three of those principles, but in a way that felt different. Analysts noted that the planning seemed to anticipate multiple scenarios at once. Instead of reacting to a single trigger, the operation appeared designed to reshape the strategic environment. That alone is one reason experts paid such close attention. Another reason was the level of coordination involved. Reports and assessments suggested close integration between intelligence, air, cyber, and ground-related capabilities. This kind of integration is not new for Israel, but the speed and precision were striking. Some experts described it as a demonstration rather than just a response. The message seemed aimed at multiple audiences at the same time. There was a message for adversaries, signaling capability and readiness. There was also a message for allies, emphasizing reliability and strength under pressure. And there was a message for domestic audiences, reinforcing a sense of control amid uncertainty. Global reactions were swift. Governments issued statements ranging from strong support to deep concern. International organizations called for restraint while acknowledging Israel's security concerns. Media outlets across continents debated the long-term consequences almost immediately. One factor that fueled the attention was how quickly the situation escalated. In previous cases, there was often a slower buildup or clearer warning signs. Here, the shift from tension to action felt sudden. That suddenness raised questions about intelligence assessments on all sides. Some experts began asking whether traditional warning indicators still apply. Others suggested this might represent a new phase in regional conflict dynamics. Technology played a major role in shaping those discussions. The operation highlighted how modern warfare increasingly relies on real-time data. Advanced surveillance, precision targeting, and rapid decision-making all appeared central. This reinforced concerns about how fast conflicts can now move beyond diplomatic control. It also raised ethical and legal questions. Commentators debated proportionality, responsibility, and civilian impact. These debates were intense, emotional, and often deeply polarized. Supporters argued that Israel acted out of necessity. Critics questioned whether alternative paths were possible. What's clear is that the operation forced these conversations into the global spotlight again. Another surprising aspect was the strategic restraint shown after the initial phase. Rather than expanding indefinitely, the operation seemed carefully bounded. This suggested a desire to avoid a wider regional conflict. Experts interpreted this as calculated signaling rather than hesitation. It showed an awareness of how easily escalation could spiral. Regional actors watched closely, Neighboring states assessed what the operation meant for their own security. Non-state actors reassessed their assumptions about deterrence. Even distant powers took notice, seeing implications for global security trends. For military analysts, this operation became a case study almost instantly. Think tanks began publishing rapid analyses within days. Former generals and intelligence officials weighed in through interviews and opinion pieces. The phrase game changer was used frequently, though not always carefully. Some argued it truly changed the balance of power. Others cautioned that the underlying conflicts remained unresolved. From a political perspective, the operation also had domestic implications. Leadership decisions came under scrutiny, both supportive and critical. Public opinion reflected a mix of fear, pride, and exhaustion. This emotional complexity added another layer to the story. International law experts entered the discussion as well. They examined the operation through the lens of existing legal frameworks. Questions about self-defense, sovereignty, and accountability resurfaced. These are debates that rarely have simple answers. Media coverage amplified every angle. Images, expert panels, and breaking updates dominated news cycles. Social media accelerated the spread of information and misinformation alike. This made it harder for audiences to separate analysis from opinion. The operation also highlighted the changing nature of warfare narratives. Control of the story became almost as important as control on the ground. Statements were carefully worded, timed, and distributed. Silence, when it occurred, was also interpreted as strategic. One reason experts were shocked was how effectively surprise was maintained. In an age of constant surveillance and leaks, surprise is increasingly rare. Yet this operation managed to preserve it, at least initially. That alone raised questions about intelligence gaps among observers. Some analysts suggested this could influence future military planning worldwide. If surprise is still possible, assumptions may need revisiting. Another key point was the psychological impact. Beyond physical outcomes, the operation aimed to affect perceptions. Deterrence is as much about belief as it is about capability. By acting decisively, Israel sought to reinforce that belief. Whether it succeeded in the long term remains an open question. History shows that immediate impacts don't always predict future stability. Short-term deterrence can sometimes lead to long-term instability. Experts are divided on which path this situation will follow. Diplomacy quickly followed military action. Behind closed doors, discussions intensified among global powers. Efforts focused on preventing further escalation. These diplomatic moves were less visible but equally important. They demonstrated how military actions and diplomacy are deeply intertwined. Economic implications also emerged. Markets reacted to uncertainty in the region. Energy prices, trade routes, and investment confidence all became topics of concern. This showed how regional conflicts can have global economic ripple effects. For ordinary people far from the region, the operation still mattered. It influenced perceptions of global security and political stability. It reminded audiences how interconnected today's world really is. Experts emphasized that no conflict exists in isolation anymore. Every major action sends signals across borders and alliances. This operation was no exception. As days passed, analysis became more nuanced. Initial shock gave way to deeper evaluation. Some early assumptions were challenged or revised. This is a natural process in understanding complex events. One lesson repeatedly mentioned was adaptability. Israel's operation demonstrated rapid adjustment to evolving conditions. This adaptability is increasingly seen as a key military advantage. Static strategies struggle in fast-changing environments. Another lesson involved communication. Clear goals and limits can reduce miscalculation. Ambiguity, while sometimes useful, also carries risks. Experts debated whether the balance was struck correctly here. The human cost remained a central concern. Regardless of strategic debates, real lives were affected. This reality grounded discussions that might otherwise become abstract. It also fueled calls for renewed efforts toward long-term solutions. In the end, what shocked experts most was not just the operation itself. It was what it revealed about the current state of global security, a world where tensions can ignite quickly and unpredictably, a world where technology accelerates both action and reaction, a world where military decisions echo far beyond their immediate targets. This operation will likely be studied for years to come, not just in military academies, but in political and diplomatic circles. Its lessons will influence planning, policy, and perception. Whether those lessons lead to greater stability or further tension is still unknown. What is clear is that this moment captured global attention for a reason. It combined surprise, strategy, controversy, and consequence. And it reminded everyone watching that in today's world, a single operation can reshape conversations worldwide. As the situation continues to evolve, analysts will keep watching closely. New information will refine or challenge current interpretations. The story is not finished, and its final impact is yet to be determined. For now, it stands as a powerful example of how modern conflicts unfold, complex, fast, moving, and deeply interconnected, and that's why it shocked experts and grabbed global attention.